At the opening session of a 3-day development and finance conference in Johannesburg, Africa's leading policy experts delivered scathing critiques of both international financial institutions and domestic economic strategies. The International Development Economics Associates Conference aims to develop alternative policy frameworks as South Africa works to leverage its G20 presidency to address long-standing challenges facing the Global South. Dr. Rob Davis, South Africa's former Trade and Industry Minister, was particularly harsh about his own country's failed economic policies.
We have been following austerity budgeting for 6+ years, more than that actually, and it's reached the point where almost any program you want to talk about is significantly underfunded.
The debt crisis dominating African economies came under harsh scrutiny. The director of the Trade Collective outlined how the continent's public debt has tripled since 2010, while attacking the international credit rating system that systematically disadvantages African nations.
So-called sub-Saharan Africa, a term that I so dislike, our public debt has tripled since 2010, and it's reached over $1.1 trillion. And when we think about this, 8 countries are in debt distress and 13 more are at high risk. For the last 15 or 20 years, we've been under the tyranny of what Standard and Moody's or Fitch or whoever would say about us. And these have actually become coercive and weaponized mechanisms which are far from neutral.
The institutional critique extended to Africa's own organizations. The Coalition for Dialogue on Africa questioned the Africa Union's independence, while Ali Zafar from the United Nations Development Programme called for honest acknowledgement that many countries face insolvency, not temporary cash problems.
When your debt to GDP is 117%, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about debt reduction, debt cancellation, not pushing the problem to future generations.
Despite the harsh assessments, experts pointed to concrete solutions. Davis cited Indonesia's success in forcing value addition to raw material exports as the model for African resource management.
In a country like Indonesia, which has taken advantage of the weakening of the WTO rules to insist through an export tax that its nickel will not be exported without some level of smelting. And I know it's not very green, but at least it's smelting. They've had a 30-fold increase, according to something I've seen, in the value in their economy from nickel.
The International Development and Economics Associates Conference continues through to Saturday, with sessions focusing on industrialization strategies and South-to-South finance cooperation, as South Africa works to consolidate its G20 presidency agenda before handing over leadership in December.